When the Spyro Reignited trilogy came out in 2018, I knew it would be a must-get for my PS4 collection, because I was a huge fan of the original trilogy when I was a kid. This trilogy looks great on Unreal Engine 4 and in my opinion, is the best way to revisit these classics. I've always wanted to platinum this trilogy, and did eventually platinum Spyro the Dragon last year. But with a bunch of other games taking up my time, I never got around to platinuming 2 or 3. However, this last week I had a sudden urge to play some Spyro, and decided it was the perfect time to get the platinum for Spyro 2. According to PSN profiles, Spyro 2 is a 3 out of 10 difficulty with only one playthrough, and it should take roughly 8 hours to platinum. For me personally, it took closer to 10 or 11, which is a little embarrassing for a kid's game, but you'll see why. Some of these boss fights get a little cheesy. My plan going into the game was simple. There are 3 worlds in Spyro 2, with each world having somewhere between 7 to 11 levels. I was going to 100% each level and its hub world before moving on to the next. Was this the most efficient? Probably not. But there was something about collecting each gem and orb during that level that just felt right, versus plowing through the game and coming back later for cleanup. So the game starts off with us being summoned into another world to help defeat Ripto, an evil dragon that has taken over. The game follows Spyro as he travels through 3 distinct worlds, clearing out levels and collecting gems and orbs from each of them to unlock more levels. We begin in the level Glimmer, which is part of the Summer Forest, and this is where we pick up our first trophy, Hypersonic. You get this trophy by lighting the 6 gem lamps in 15 seconds. After clearing this level, Spyro was teleported to Summer Forest, the hub world, where I met up with Hunter and completed his first set of challenges for our second trophy. After running around for a while grabbing gems and orbs in the Summer Forest, I hopped into Colossus and grabbed the trophy using your head. This one is really simple. All you have to do is charge any goat in the level and it will pop. After getting that done, I went in 100% of the level, grabbing all the gems and orbs. Moving on from Colossus, I ran through Idle Springs and picked up the trophy Bad Sushi. You get this one by feeding the idol only blue and yellow fish. After that, I made my way over to Hurricos and got a trophy for defeating every robot in the level. This is a great platforming level, and I remember this level's intro from the PS1. Next was Ocean Speedway, the flying level of this world, and by far the best flying level in this game. For those of you that don't know, in order to 100% these, you have to grab every single item within a time limit, and they can kind of be challenging if you don't know where you're going. However, you can always just look up a guide and get it in your first few attempts. Anyways, after I 100%ed that, I ran over to the stands and flamed the crowd of fish for a trophy. Next, I went over to Aquaria Towers, and I got a trophy for destroying every Robo-Shark. Now, certain levels in Spyro 2 are a lot bigger than others, and this is one of them. The layout can get confusing because you have the surface level where the orb challenges are, and then the bottom where all the platforming stuff is. And just in general, the swimming in this game kind of sucks, and the controls feel kind of weird. So this is one of my least favorite levels to play. However, in order to destroy the Robo-Sharks, you need to go through the level and defeat all the enemies to unlock the Super Flame, which is on a timer. Once you grab the Super Flame, you need to go back through the level and kill all the Robo-Sharks to unlock this trophy. After that, I had 100% every level in Summer Forest besides Sunny Beach, because you need to buy the move Climb from Moneybags and Autumn Plains before 100%ing this level. So after doing everything that I could, I went to Crush's dungeon, the first boss of the game. Crush is by far the easiest boss of the 3, and you can unlock a trophy here by defeating him without hitting any fodder. For those that don't know, in Spyro games, Spyro can kill fodder to gain health, essentially. But it's not like a health bar. Spyro has a firefly that follows them around and changes colors depending on how many hits Spyro has before dying. Gold is 4, blue is 3, green is 2, and once you get hit with the green firefly, it goes away, signifying that you only have 1 hit left before dying. Okay, so now that everyone's up to speed, the easiest way to avoid killing fodder is to just not get hit, which is fairly simple to do against Crush. I beat him on my first try and moved on to the second world of the game, Autumn Plains. This world is the biggest and has the most levels out of the 3 worlds in Spyro 2. The first thing I did was make my way over to Moneybags and buy Climb from him, and then I went back to Sunny Beach and Summer Forest to grab the trophy for headbutting every turtle in the Turtle Soup challenges. Then I finally went back to Autumn Plains and picked up the trophy Long Distance for completing the long glide to an orb. I surprisingly was able to get that on my first attempt. Next I went to Crystal Glacier, one of my favorite levels, and popped the trophy Bug Control for killing all the Draclets in a single super fight. Pro tip, if you miss some of them on the first lap, don't start over. Just go through the super flight while still flying and the buff will reset, allowing you to grab any others that you have missed. After that, I went over to Skelos Badlands, another great level, and got possibly the easiest trophy in the game. You get it by simply completing the world without touching any lava. The easiest way to do this is to just plow through the level the first time without stopping for gems or orbs, and as long as you don't touch any lava, the trophy will pop. You can go back through and 100% the level without any pressure of missing the trophy. Next on the list was the level Zephyr. You can grab this trophy by using a cannon to defeat one of the TNT throwing birds. Quick sidebar, this is another frustrating level, mainly due to one of the orb challenges where Professor needs you to plant these seeds. It requires some kind of difficult platforming for a kid's game. Well, at least I found it difficult, and I spent the better part of a half hour here. After that, I made my way over to Breezer Harbor, another great level for the trophy, Trouble No More. In order to get this trophy, you need to have a clean run on the trolley. This orb challenge was a little more difficult than I originally thought, but once you get the hang of the controls, it's pretty simple. The next trophy I went for was on the level Scorch, where you have to complete an orb challenge without getting hit by any of the bombs thrown at you. This one wasn't particularly difficult, it's just a little time consuming because the bombs bounce kind of weird, so you have to take your time to make sure that you don't get hit. After that, I went to the level Magma Cone, where I completed more of Hunter's challenges for orbs and a trophy, and then made my way over to Shady Oasis, where you get a trophy for completing the level without touching the hazardous water. There are a few levels that you're not able to 100% until you get to the third world where you can buy Head Bash from Moneybags. So I decided to head over to Gulp's Overlook to fight the second boss of Spyro 2, Gulp. So, just like the fight against Crush, you get a trophy for defeating this boss without harming any fodder. So the strategy remains the same. Try to not get hit to avoid any fodder spawning in the first place, and defeat them. However, this fight gets a little cheesy. Look, I know that I have no business as a grown man to complain about a children's game, but holy crap, Gulp is such an annoying fight. So basically, birds drop off barrels, rockets, and bombs that you have to use to hit Gulp with, which isn't that bad at the start. He has this charge move that's very easily avoidable, but once he starts using his lasers, gosh, let me tell you about these lasers, because I was getting tilted. So originally, when he would use his laser cannons, I would run really fast around the arena in a circle. But the problem is that the laser cannons track. Literally, they will predict where you are running and hit you. At first, I was like, okay, no big deal if I get hit. I just won't kill any fodder still, and I can get the trophy. But the other problem is that the birds will start summoning fodder, and Gulp will then eat them if you don't, and he will get a health point back. I think this fight overall took me like 6 to 7 tries before I finally was able to beat it. The way to avoid his laser cannons is to run forward in a serpentine motion and then hit him with the objects that the birds drop. Yeah, all in all, this fight was easy once I figured it out, but wow, I'm a little ashamed to admit that it took me that long to beat. After beating Gulp without harming any fodder, the Conservationist 2 trophy popped, and we were on our way to World 3, Winter Tundra. First things first, I grabbed Head Bash from Moneybags and went back to World 2 to clean up a few trophies that I couldn't without it. First one was in Fractured Hills for defeating all of the Earth Shapers, and the second was for flaming all the pigeons first in Metro Speedway. I actually didn't need Head Bash to complete the last one, I just forgot about it before. Anyway, moving on. The first level in Winter Tundra was Icy Speedway, the third flying level. You collect a trophy for defeating all the snowmobiles before defeating a single hang glider, which is simple enough. Next, I ran through Cloud Temple, another great level in this game. You get a trophy for beating the level without hitting a single sheep. Next was Mystic Marsh. There's a trophy here for defeating every monkey that hangs from a tree with a charge attack. Quick side note, this is another level that I don't particularly care for. Professor has an orb challenge here where you have to trade things for a pencil. There's literally no way to figure it out without looking up a guide from YouTube. The other annoying orb challenge here is catching all the thieves. I don't know why, but these ones just seemed a little harder than they should be. After that, I got a trophy for head bashing every rock in Winter Tundra, and then made my way over to Metropolis. This is probably my favorite level in the game. I just love the creativity of the robots being these like corporate office workers, and then the farm animals being these super intelligent space travelers with like UFOs and laser guns. This level is just a core memory from my childhood. Anyways, you can grab a trophy here for defeating the Ox without taking a single hit, which honestly is a little bit harder than it seems. The ice makes for some weird controls, and you have to time the movement with your flame breath. It can definitely be frustrating, but after a few attempts, you should get it. After that, the final level before fighting Ripto is Robotica Farms. Another great level. You get a trophy here by defeating all the Robo-Bees by spitting rocks at them, which is simple enough. Once that was completed, I had 100%ed Winter Tundra in all the levels and was able to fight Ripto. This fight is pretty easy. You get a trophy for damaging him with all 3 power-up types, which you can do in Phase 1. The only part about this fight that is kind of annoying is that it has 3 phases. In Phase 1, you just fight Ripto, which is easy enough. But once you beat him, he summons a mechanical version of Gulp, and you have to do the fight over again. The power-ups spawn in this phase as well. The fight doesn't really change mechanically, you just have to make sure to avoid Ripto's fireball attacks, which also track. So, just move forward in a serpentine motion when he does them to avoid it. In Phase 3, Ripto causes the arena to flood with lava, and he summons a mechanical bird that he rides around the sky. It's a pretty simple fight, just avoid his attacks and hit him enough times to defeat him. Finally, after beating Ripto, all I had left was one trophy to get, unlocking the permanent Super Flame. You do this in the amusement park where Spyro takes his well-deserved vacation. For some reason, my PS5 did not record the trophies popping, so here's a screenshot instead. All in all, I had a great time platinuming Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. It's a very simple platinum. Each level has one trophy, and you have to 100% each level in order to unlock every trophy. My one tip to anyone who wants to go for this platinum is to just 100% each level as you go. It's a little more time consuming, yes, but it feels great to be done with the game after beating Ripto and not having to go back for any cleanup. This trilogy was one of my favorites as a kid, and I'm happy to add Ripto's Rage to my trophy list. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I am Chibley Talks Games, or CTG for short, and I make content centered around trophy hunting, retrospectives, and video essays about video games. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you like the content I've put out so far, please subscribe. I have a few videos in the works that I'm really excited to release in the near future. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one.